A Project Baltimore investigation finds millions of tax dollars are going towards educating students who are not even in the schools.
And as Project Baltimore's Chris Papps explains, legislation drafted to better protect those tax dollars recently went before lawmakers, and their reaction may stun you.
To me, education of our children is a bipartisan issue.
When Carroll County Delegate April Rose introduced House Bill 1365 before the Appropriations Committee in Annapolis, she expected pushback.
We must get this right for our kids and for our taxpayers.
But she didn't get any.
Are there any questions from members of the Appropriations Committee for Delegate Rose?
No questions, no opposition, no anything. Her virtual hearing lasted 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair.
So what happened? Well, Rose's bill was intended to save taxpayer dollars, potentially millions of dollars every year, going to educate students who aren't even in school. In Maryland, schools receive funding based on the number of students enrolled on September 30th every year. That head count on that one day is then used to determine the amount of funding a school receives the following year. House Bill 1365 would make schools count enrollment 4 times a year to get a better idea of how many students are actually attending. Funding would then be based on the average of those 4 counts.
As I can see in the transcripts, yeah, I'm basically a GO student, but I didn't enroll in the class or anything.
Rose drafted the bill after Project Baltimore exposed ghost students who are kept on the rolls to increase the funding a school receives, like this former Augusta Fells student who was somehow enrolled at the Baltimore City High School while he was in jail.
I've been gone since 2017, buddy.
But the problem is not limited to Augusta Fells. Other former school leaders say padding the rolls is common. You had 5 dead students enrolled at your school.
At the time that I inherited the school, yes.
It's an open secret that there are thousands of kids who are not coming to school every day, who are still on the rolls.
In addition to ghost students, Project Baltimore also learned of students labeled whereabouts unknown. We analyzed state data and found in 2019, more than 6,000 students statewide could not be located. In other words, taxpayers paid nearly $93 million in just 1 year to educate students who could not be found.
That's something that needs to be looked at.
State Comptroller and Democratic candidate for Governor Peter Franchot said that should not happen.
It's unacceptable for taxpayers' money to go for students that are knowingly not in the school system.
In addition to fixing the policy issue of taxpayer money being spent properly, we must also do a better job at finding out why these children are not in school.
But Delegate Rose says during the committee hearing, her bill wasn't supported or opposed. It was ignored. Project Baltimore did some digging. We learned before Rose presented House Bill 1365, 3 written statements were sent to the committee. All 3 opposed the bill. The Maryland State Education Association, the teachers union, wrote the bill overcomplicates a data snapshot that is intended to ensure adequate funding for schools. Howard County Schools called the bill a different variation of the current problem, saying enrollment would still be based on snapshots in time, and school budgets could be delayed if the average enrollment isn't calculated until the end of the school year. Anne Arundel County Schools wrote this bill could reduce their funding, and they oppose any revenue reductions. What does all of that tell you?
Unfortunately, that the bill won't move.
Rose says Maryland's teachers union has so much power. As soon as they opposed the bill, it was effectively dead, which is why she believes the committee gave it no time.
It absolutely was done to save taxpayer money. But again, I don't want to put aside the fact that if we've got kids that are in jail and not in school, clearly what we're doing now, the status quo of what we've been doing, is not working.
I'm Chris Papps, and this is Project Baltimore.